This episode of Unscripted Turbulence is sponsored by Dude Wow Cocktails. Bold flavor, no extra ingredients. This will be nice.
I know. Well, thank you for inviting me.
Oh my God, this is going to be so great.
I know. I'm very excited about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you feeling any, for whatever reason, this election period, I hate doing elections. I do not like covering elections.
Yeah.
Thank you. For whatever reason, I'm having a bit of FOMO.
Yeah, I wish I was like
in
up on it. Yeah,
right?
Yeah, more. Because I mean, it's historic,
right?
So
How many people came out?
I think that's the thing is like the history,
right?
Is what you're like, oh man, like that's so cool.
That's so cool to be like part of it and get people's reactions and
exactly.
the feeling of all the reporters and photogs. Like, what are they really thinking?
Yeah, exactly.
But then
and also, what do they really know?
Right, because there's things that we're not being told.
Yeah,
and then
or things that you can't fully verify, but people is kind of common knowledge under the surface, but you can't fully verify it.
Yeah.
So you can't go on air with it.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just the side stories that are just not necessarily newsworthy, but just like, add texture to the perspective on the candidates. But it's a new day in New York City, that's for sure.
Holy moly, isn't it? Right? And then the next day comes and you're like, all right, now it's like this. Now what do we do?
Well, you know what?
It's like that buildup.
But I feel like now, I was actually having this conversation because doing some work with one of my clients, and they're like getting in the press right now, right? So they're trying to, and it's like, oh, well, there are elections and the government shutdown. It's not a good time to like be in the, try to pitch a story. And I was like, okay, we're on 15 now, but we're going to be at 10. Like, we don't go below 10 anymore. There is always something. And because a suggestion was like, hey, maybe next week to pitch it. And I was like, no, we got to go with our timeline because we don't know what next week's going to hold.
You can't wait.
It's just, this is where we are right now. Yeah. So I do feel bad for those out on the street because you just don't get a reprieve. There's never like, oh, what's happening today? It's like everything is on fire. Oh, yeah. What are we choosing to talk about that's on fire? And I'm happy I don't have to be part of this.
I know, right? I'm glad, especially when after like a big election next day, really, it's kind of, the aftermath, and then it gets a little bit of there is a little bit of a lull, and then you're like, oh. And then it's the crap in the newsroom you just don't want to deal with. All right. Anyway. So let's get into this. I'm going to include all of this in the podcast if you don't mind, because it's really good. Just kind of off the cuff. This is like the warm-up session that I like to, all my people know. Yeah. Okay. So we will start with, welcome to Unscripted Turbulence. If you're watching, okay, first, I'm going to go right to the guest, because I wrote it down, even though I know it's Aundrea Cline-Thomas. But there's like a hyphenated name, so I didn't want to mess it up. Yes. So number 2 is we are in a different room if you're watching, because I do the video and I also do the audio. So if you're listening, you'll be like, oh, what do you mean? Well, if you're listening, go to YouTube and you'll see.
Yes.
And then subscribe if you haven't already. But anyway, so this room is nice. I'm used to having like a little, my old room is being taken right now because I rent a studio, and I usually have like a nice little couch thing.
Okay.
So like
I'm comfy.
You're okay?
Cozy. I'm good.
You're okay?
I'm good.
Should I go get an Afghan?
Should I take my shoes off or
right?
something? Just like, know. But I'm good. I'm so happy to see you.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So tuning in.
Yeah.
I like to always tell people a little bit of a background, how we know each other, kind of set the stage.
Okay.
Right? So Aundrea Cline-Thomas and I know each other from the news business.
Yes.
That's a shocker. It seems like everybody on this podcast is somewhere in the news. She was a reporter at CBS 2 New York. And at that time, I was at Fox 5.
Yes. I think I came in 2018.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was at Fox 5. So we got to know each other, hit it off immediately. There's many reporters you hit off. Some reporters you don't hit off. We just want to talk about that. Anyway.
Some try to undermine your stories.
Don't gloss over that. So Aundrea and I just kind of hit it off. You came from Philly.
Yeah.
from KYW.
No,
I'm sorry,
at NBC 10.
Oh, you were at NBC 10?
Yeah, I was at NBC 10.
No kidding. I thought you were at the Philly CBS station.
No.
NBC 10. Get out of here.
Yeah.
How was that? Okay. Well, I'm leaning in too soon, too hard, too fast, too quick. Sorry. There are probably kids in high school. What if kids in high school are listening to this? They're like in their senior year of journalism. They're like, yeah. And they heard that. They're like, wah, wah.
No, I mean, it was great. I always say I became a journalist in Philly. It was harder than New York. It was a lot harder than New York. It was faster than New York.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that because I love me some Channel 6 Action News.
Okay, yeah.
I grew up watching it.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. So Aundrea is currently not a reporter.
Nope.
I'm going to say she is better and greater. And she is, I would say, a consultant and has her own podcast. Yeah. So explain your title.
That's a great question. What is my title?
Self-created, right?
Yes.
Self-created.
Yeah, self-created. Yeah, I am a consultant. I always say, like, I help people tell better stories about themselves, their work, and each other. And storytelling is at the core of everything that I do because the person who tells the best story wins. And so I just help people win.
Oh, that is brilliant. And so nice and easy. Yeah, so you also have a podcast.
So I have a podcast called The Next Best Thing, and it's all about how to navigate career and life transitions because I blew up my life. And I've always been obsessed with like personal development. And so I was like, okay, I had always wanted to do a podcast. I tried it and it didn't, long story. It didn't work. It didn't see the light of day. And it was the one thing that I wanted to do for myself. There's a lot when I left traditional news, there's a lot that I did not know. But the one thing that I did know was that I wanted to continue to interview people. I will do that until the end of time. And I was like, okay, well, what do you want to talk about? And it was like career and life transitions because I'm going through it and everybody around me was going through it, hello. And so I got to talk to, I talked to a bunch of people and it really is like almost like free coaching because it created a roadmap for me. It did a lot of things for me, but one of the things that created a roadmap for me so I didn't fall into some of the pitfalls that a lot of people do when they're transitioning because I'm talking to somebody who's 10 steps ahead.
Oh, yeah. And it's hard not to compete and compare in your head with other people's situations.
No, you know what? I don't do that.
You don't. You're lucky and I told her on the phone. Yeah. I did this with her. I did. Because I saw you in your success of leaving the news. And then you have this girl's got an assistant that does emails, helps her with emails. And I'm like a one woman show. And I'm like, wow. And then you've got this Instagram handle and your headshots are glorious. and I mean, mine are too, but, but you've got this whole thing, this whole package. And I'm like, wow. So I went down a rabbit hole of comparing and saying, oh my gosh, she's so successful. I'll never get there. So kudos to you that you don't get like that.
No, I really don't. Well, just because you can't compare, like I'm almost 3.5 years out now. And I blinked and like the time passed. And so I just committed to myself to the process of like, you just have to try. And so I give myself a lot of credit for trying, not necessarily the outcome, but I give myself a lot of credit for trying. And so I'm just kind of like, I'm just out here doing the best that I can. And the Mariah Carey doing the best that I can with what I got. And that's going to have to be good enough, right? Like so somebody else might have something else and more and, but I'm just like, this is my one life and I'm taking charge of it. And I'm showing up for it. So I give myself credit for that. And so if I see somebody else having something that I want, I'm like, well, how did they do it? Let me like go down the rabbit hole to see like what were their moves to see if I can learn something from it to replicate it in my life. So I see it as like an opportunity to learn and not like a comparison.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because I get like that. Not that I'm like, oh, I'm going to be better than you.
Yeah.
But it's more like, oh man, and then you feel like out of sorts because you want to do something and then somebody else is ahead of you. But
yeah. Whoa. And I'm super transparent about it. And also that's like what I do on the podcast is demystifying what it really means and what it really takes. So what it looks like is one thing, but like peeling back that onion of like, this is the shit of it all.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's like, I'm just too honest about what it really takes and what it really looks like. So don't ever, for me, because I'm going to tell you, okay, well, let me tell you what it is and how I'm in an unsustainable place right now. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like in the decisions that I've made or whatever, and how I need to like fix it, and how I'm like, you know, learning as I go. So yeah.
Okay, well, that is a good jumping off to the beginning of where we're going to go, Aundrea. Okay, so we're going to start from the very beginning.
Okay.
Where are you from?
I'm from Maryland. Wheaton, Maryland. I say Silver Spring because a lot of people don't know Wheaton, but Wheaton, Maryland. And so right outside D.C.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's all right.
And then you grew up there?
So that's where I grew up. My parents are from Sierra Leone, West Africa. So immigrant household. And
are you first generation?
I'm first gen. Yeah, I'm first gen. But spent my whole childhood going to Africa every other year to visit my grandparents. And I have a ton of family there. And a lot of family has since moved to the States or England. But I grew up going to Africa and England to go visit family. So going to grandma's house meant to go to Africa.
Wow, not like down the street through the woods. You're like, no, I got to go like across the ocean.
Yes. And so, and then just grew up in a Sierra Leonean community because when my parents came, they met in the States and got married. But there was a small community because everyone was struggling and going to school. So there was like this community that they built around them. And so I was raised in this community of friends and real family, but I didn't know who was real family and who was friends because I was raised by this huge community of people. And so I had like there was a dichotomy always in my upbringing of like, always having a sense of belonging to a big group of people, and then also like the American narrative of it that was like a lot harsher and less warm and stuff like that. And so I kind of straddled two worlds. And that's what actually made me a journalist, because I was so curious about people and how they lived and how they made decisions, and then the politics of it all, because there was like a civil war in Sierra Leone for a long time, and that affected my family. And so, you know, so I just understood how government can impact people and people's decisions and how that can change the trajectory of their lives. And so, yeah, I just got enamored with culture and adventure and travel, and journalism was like the thing that to me encompassed all of that.
Wow, you are like an onion who smells very good, by the way. Okay, I'm not saying because she's stinky. She's not stinky. Oh my gosh! Wow, layers. I love this. I have actually a friend. I went to Temple University. I feel like I say that every podcast, and then of course I followed up with "Go Owls."
Yes.
Maybe there will be a increase of enrollment at Temple at this point. But anyway, so one of my girlfriends is from Sierra Leone, Medina, and she's from Maryland.
Oh, yeah? How old is she?
My age, 44. Medina oh, geez, it's a difficult last name.
Our parents might know each other. Like I might, yeah.
El Harazan or something. It's
okay.
I'll have to look. I have it in my phone. Oh my gosh, it's like a degree of separation.
I know, there could be. I mean, it's not, yeah.
And now she lives in D.C. Now, Medina, if you're listening. Now I'm going to have to send this to her and she'll be like, oh, that's probably like my cousin.
Yeah, right. No, that's legit how it goes.
That's awesome. So now you went then to college at
Boston College.
Boston.
Yeah, but it had a communications department, no journalism. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was the same. Having communications degree and journalism degree, I thought it was the same. It's not.
Yeah, I did too. Going to school, you don't know.
You don't know, whatever. Right? My parents were just like, go to the best school that you can go to. Yeah, and they're like, we'll do whatever it takes. And yeah, they're like, we'll work a second job if we need to. We need you to get the best education that you can get. And so
this is like a real true immigrant story. Your parents came to this country.
Completely.
And they're like, we will do whatever we need to do to get you.
Yes. And I have a brother and sister. I'm the youngest, and it's like for all of us. Yeah. And so
I just want to tear up. Yeah. It's like the coolest thing. Yeah. Wow. Like you hear it but you never find someone who actually has that experience.
No. Yes.
Wow.
And so you just can't take things for granted. I think that's just like my worldview is very much shaped by their experiences. And so it served me so well. I mean, as a young person, because they didn't know how to navigate the system. So I learned my agency very early. And so in high school, I would have to very much advocate for myself and to get to the AP classes or to get to the IB classes because I wasn't naturally put it. And so I literally I was thinking about it a few years ago, how did I even know how to do this? And so I'm I know college needs this. This is what I keep being told. And so I need to, I think it was maybe English. I was in honors English, but I wanted to get to AP English, but you needed I think I had a B+ and you need an A-. And so I negotiated and I was how can I get into this class? And I tracked down my teacher in the hall and I was you need to sign this. And she was but da-da-da. I was no, you need to sign this because I need to go to a good school and I need to have AP English. I need you to sign this paper so I can enroll in AP English. And I hounded her so much and she was whatever. And she was well, I don't know if you're going to be able. I was if you teach me, I can learn. And she signed the paper. So it's all through my life, I've had to advocate for myself hardcore because it just is not, the system is not necessarily set up for me to win, right? And so, but as a kid, as my parents didn't know how to navigate, they didn't know they didn't know.
They're not from this country.
Yeah, they just don't know how to
system.
Yeah, they don't know how it works. So I'd have to
in high school, you did that. I think I advocated that hard to get a date for a prom or something. You know what I mean? I didn't advocate that hard for an AP class.
Yeah, no, because it was just that was because the thing is that children rise to their expectations, right? And so my parents were I don't know how to do it. All my life, they're whatever you need, just let us know. If I can't help you, I will find somebody to help you. So whether it be their coworker's child or if or ask their go to work and say, hey, do you know anybody? They're we will. That's the thing that they, sometimes it's parents can give kids cars and stuff. Mm-hmm. My parents gave me hustle and understanding, okay, who do you have around you and how can you tap into the resources that you already have to get you from where you are to where you want to be?
Smart.
And so all of those things are what I'm using now in very tangible ways. But it was just little seeds over time. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you go to Boston College, BC.
Yeah. Go to BC, get out, don't know what I'm doing. Right before graduation, everybody has a job.
For journalism, right? So
I went to comms. And I went to, I took classes at BU. I did something with Emerson. A newscast with Emerson. I did the things. I had all internships from my freshman year. And when everyone was graduating, they had a job. I was wait a minute. I'm not supposed to have a job. I didn't even know. And so I didn't have a job and I had all these internships. And so I couldn't get a job. And so then I worked for lobbyists in DC. Now it's Verizon, but then it was MCI. And so I worked where I was in admin and I just got campaign contributions. I would have to log and then get invitations off the fax machine and do data entry. And I got the back end of the political system that they don't teach you about. And I was oh, don't like this. They're writing whole bills, right? They're writing the bills. The lawyers that I work with, the lobbyists, they were writing the bills, right? And so I was just wait, this doesn't feel like this is how it's supposed to be. So then I was still trying to I was I will do anything at your TV station. I will and no one would hire me.
Oh, gosh.
So then I ended up going to Maryland for grad school to get a broadcast journalism degree so I could make a tape.
University of Maryland.
Yeah, University of Maryland. College Park. Yep. And they had an accelerated 1-year program. You could do 1.5 years and do a paper. I was no, I just need a job. Get me in and out. I just need a tape and a job. I know exactly what I need. Can y'all help me out? And so I worked my whole way through it. And then I went to Maryland, graduated, got a job in Macon, Georgia.
Macon, Georgia. I did a live shot there.
Did you?
When I was at the Weather Channel.
Oh, that makes sense.
There was flooding. There was something. And they set me down.
That makes sense. Because I was why would you be there?
Randomly I was in Macon the other day, hanging out in downtown. Yeah, no. And I remember Macon rhymes with bacon. I remember that. And then I remember there was water everywhere. It was just flooding. I don't even remember what kind of storm it was. But we drove down from Atlanta. Yeah. And it was a drive.
Yeah, I would make that drive because my friends were in Atlanta.
Oh.
So like when I tell you my Friday wasn't always a Friday because sometimes I work the weekends, but like the last day of my week, I had my bags packed in the car and I went from the station to my friend's house so we could go hang out and be in the streets in Atlanta. It was a time.
Atlanta. Yeah.
It was a time. And when I was in my 20s, like it was a time.
What is the part of Atlanta? Because when I was at Weather Channel, I wasn't based in Atlanta. I was based up here in New York City.
Oh,
as the Northeast correspondent. But I'd go down and anchor on AMHQ with Sam Champion when I was up and running. And I mean, it still is, but Sam isn't there. But anyway, so what is that area of all the hot spots, restaurants, the bars in Atlanta?
Highland.
If there's a name of
Highland.
it.
The Highlands. And then there's like little 5 Points. And then there's
like a neighborhood. I'm putting you on the spot.
I know. It's been so long.
It's like on the top of your head.
I know. It's been like
a while.
20 years.
Yeah, but I know that there was like one area where everybody was like, oh yeah, go out there because it has like the best restaurants and clubs or whatever.
It was a time.
Oh my gosh.
So fun.
Oh.
And it was so many of my college friends were just there. Like one of my best friends was getting her master's, and then we're just all young and just ambitious and trying, like broke. And we're all broke.
But it was
like,
fun, right?
But it was so fun.
You're like, I have no money, but somehow I'm making do.
Yeah. I mean, lots of pasta.
Oh, yeah.
And sauce on top. Lots of hot dogs.
Oh, yeah. I didn't do the meat. I didn't do the hot dog. I did like the veggie dog, so yes.
Yeah, no, I did
Morning
hot
Star.
Dogs. I can't even eat hot dogs now because it's just, I'm still scarred at how many hot dogs I ate because that's all I could afford. It was
protein.
Well, yeah.
You get your protein in.
Yeah, I was just like, cheap and just like fat, whatever else.
Just worked.
Just worked. Some bread to sop it all up. Okay, great.
Who knew that this podcast was going to dive into the world of hot dogs? Okay, so you're in Macon, Georgia, and then after Macon, what TV station were you there? What was
WMGT, the NBC affiliate.
Okay, and then you went from there to...
Then I went from there home to Maryland because they wanted to re-sign me, and I was like, no, and I didn't have a job. And then the recession hit all at the same time. So I was out of the business for like 9 months or so. I didn't know if I would be able to get back in. And then I went to Charlotte at News 14 Carolina, which is now Spectrum now.
Yeah, my girlfriend Ann Forte worked there.
Yes.
You know Ann?
Yeah, so she was in Raleigh.
Yes.
And I was in Charlotte. Yep.
Shut up. You know Ann Forte.
Yeah, so we don't know each other personally, but we're in the same network. Yep.
Oh.
Okay. Yep. And from there, I went to Nashville to WTVF, which was the best job I've ever had.
Really? What did you do there? Just reporting and anchoring?
I was reporting. Yeah, and I did a little bit of anchoring. Yeah. Just a little. But oh my God.
Really?
I was there for 4 years and like 1 month. It was the best place ever.
Yeah. Now, why did you leave? Was that when Philly called you?
No, it was just I just wanted to be closer to home. Like that, just like I was like, oh, my parents are getting older.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
yep.
You know, and they're fine, but like I was just like,
it's a plane ride
here. It's a plane ride, but I was only seeing my family like maybe 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And so that just was like we're closer family, and I was just missing everything all the time and not making a whole lot of money either. And so I was just like, okay, not making money, not near my family. I love it here. I love the people here. I literally could have stayed forever. I think if I made more money or if Nashville was closer to Maryland, I'd still be there right now. Pretty much hands down. I don't think,
Isn't that funny when you look back at certain stations, you're like, you know what, that actually was great. And you're always looking for the next thing. You know, man, that was.
But when I left, I just had a feeling. I was like on the flight to Philadelphia sobbing. And I was like, it will never be this. I just knew it. I was like, this was just a moment in time. And even all my friends from there who have gone on to different stations, I just saw at the beginning of October, I was hanging out with 2 sets of friends. One in Orlando for a birthday, and then I went the week after to San Francisco. And so they were like, it was a moment in time. It's just like everything was perfect. It was the most loving newsroom. I'm still so close to so many of the people there. They are really my closest friends, and we've done life together, like for real done life. And then also even coworkers, like, you know, we had a coworker have cancer, and the way they just loved on him, and, you know, just people have had life, and we've literally done life together. We didn't just work together. We did life together. So it was just a really special place.
Oh
yeah, I love it. And the Nashville's so fun. It was great.
I've been there 2 or 3 times, and I remember just the air smells smoky.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But in a good way, not like things are on fire all the time.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, you know, either it's barbecue or it's actual wood burning of something. It just, and it really is. There's something magical about it.
It's a beautiful place, like really wonderful people. Yeah. Really wonderful people.
So different than the East Coast.
Totally different.
You know?
Totally different. Yeah, they just care for you. And then I was at a really good station that like won all the time too. So like,
oh, well, when you get that, I know I've been there too. When you're at those stations and you're like, yeah.
So it just is like people love you.
Yeah.
You know, like people love on you. And I was like, they were better to me than I deserved. Like they loved on me to be away from home and, you know, all of the things. So it was great. It was a great time.
So now after that was Philadelphia.
Then was Philly. I mean, womp womp. You know,
want to get comfy over here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and then it was Philly. Philly was interesting on a lot of fronts. I mean, just to contextualize it. So I got to Philly when the Pope was there. You remember the big trip? He was in
in the
Philly.
Pope-mobile?
Yeah, and he was in DC, and then he went to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So I moved into the city right before the Pope came because I knew the streets would be blocked and I couldn't get a truck in and whatever. And so that weekend, the folks who would be my coworkers, the photogs, went on strike right before. Okay, I'm going to set the stage for you of how I started. All right.
Oh my.
So they went on strike to have leverage, right? So like this is the biggest story. This is the biggest story of that time. And they were in contractual, you know, disagreement. And so the photogs like literally got a text, we're on strike. Like right before like the 5 o'clock hit or something, right?
That's a way to give a message. Whoa.
And so let's say this is on a Friday. And so they're scrambling to figure out how to do coverage, whatever. They're bringing in photogs from all across the country to then help supplement the coverage of the biggest story of that time, essentially. I come on Monday. I'm excited. I have a new job. I'm in top 10. I'm finally making real money. And I'm driving in, and along the sidewalk are the photogs picketing with the signs and all. And I'm like, are those my coworkers? And I come in, I park, and I come in the door, and in front of me are two. You didn't know you were getting this story.
No, I don't even remember this, but I was not at NBC Family, so I don't remember, and I'm not a photographer.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And so in front of me, this was 2015, and in front of me were two like security guards. They were young. They were young. You know, with the blue jackets, like building security is who they got. So they were very young. But I was like, security guy, like why? And so then I come into the newsroom like, I'm the new girl. And they're like, have a seat. And that's the environment that I started Philly in.
Oh, wow.
And so just to give context to like, and so I was like, that was a precursor to the experience that I had there. I will say that Philadelphia taught me, Philadelphia is so integral in my story, though, because it's where I really started thinking about what I call my next best thing concretely and started planting seeds for it. And it was where I became a real journalist. I think I did better work in Philly than I did even in New York. And that's where I just knew what I was made of. That's where it was tested. I mean, it had been tested throughout my career,
Right.
but it was just to a point where it was like, okay, girl, you're going to have to make a decision. Like, who are you? I think before my career, I was like folding. I was like, okay, you want this? Okay, I'll do that. If you want this. But here I was like, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down as myself.
Oh, I just got shivers.
You know? And so I'm just going to stand 10 toes on me. And then we'll just see what happens, and we'll just deal with whatever shrapnel comes my way. Yeah. And so that's just kind of what happened there. And that
before you go any further, how did the photogs do with the strike?
Oh no, I mean it was terrible.
Like
we would go out on stories, and they would surround us, and they would block live shots, and they would chase us down in cars on highways. Like, it was tough.
Was it a union thing?
It was a union thing because it's a union town. And then even people wouldn't interview with us because that would be crossing the picket line. It's a big union town. So like elected officials and stuff wouldn't necessarily interview with us. Yeah, it's a big deal. It was a huge deal.
Whoa.
And it lasted, I want to say, 3 weeks.
Okay.
And so they would say, like, I got surrounded one time, and they're like, who was it? I go, I don't know who these people are. I just started. I don't
probably
know.
Good for them that you didn't know them, so then you weren't able to
But I was just kind of like, man, there's so much stress because I still had to turn a story. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. I'm with a photog from San Diego. And I like, who's the leader here, right? Like, I don't know who do I need to talk? Like, I didn't get any type of like acclimation or orientate. Like, that was my orientation. And then the newsroom was stressed, and thank God Telemundo was part of the newsroom. And so Telemundo operated really like a family. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, this poor girl. So they're like, come on over. And so Telemundo would be like, hey, Aundrea, how are you? How are you doing today? And like, speak to me. But like, folks were kind of nose down and trying to figure out how to do. The job is hard enough on a great day. Mm-hmm. And this was exponentially worse. So I was just like sitting there oftentimes like by myself. I don't know. I'm introducing myself to everybody. I don't know who's staff, who just was brought in to be. I don't know anything. So so then they resolved it and everybody came back, but people were pissed. Like, it was just it was a thing.
Did they get more money from their contract? I'm assuming that's what it was over.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they did. They did. But not much. I mean, for like, if you compare what everybody went through, it was kind of like the company should have just done right by them at the beginning. It like to the cost associated with this, it just wasn't worth it at the end. And also the fractured relationships, and stuff like that. So it just wasn't worth it.
Yikes.
The bad blood with it. But everybody ended up bouncing back. It took a minute, though.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you go through the Philly and the shrapnel, and you built yourself in Philly.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, that's a good town.
Yeah.
I always like to say, in my world of experience in Philadelphia to me is like that first love. You know, the love that you don't hold back, and you express yourself, and you fall hard, and you feel hard, and you love hard. But once you get to Manhattan, this shit's a marriage. You got to work on it. That's how I feel, because I went through my upbringing in terms of college and really understanding what I was getting myself into. In Philly. I never worked in Philly as a reporter. But I ended up in New York, and I realized different vibes and feelings. That's how I view it. So
it was
different for you.
I think I just came into New York with different. I didn't come to New York with rose-colored glasses. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, New York City." I was like, "Look, I'm trying to figure out, because this can't be it." I was at that point, so I came in freelance too. I didn't come in staff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how did that work? So you started, because the one thing I've been hearing a lot from people is planting seeds before you start really making
1,000%. You have to.
Started when you were in Philly, like you
I started. Yeah, because I started asking myself.
Soon after you started in Philly, you started thinking.
No, it was probably year 2.
Okay.
Yeah, year 2 was very clear. My contract wasn't renewed in Philly.
Oh.
And so I already was very aware of like, this might go left, right? Like, I just kind of knew that it might. And I had a really tough boss. And I was like, I did great work. I'm very clear about that. Mm-hmm. But you're just not for everybody. And sometimes you're not. There, that's the thing.
Isn't that interesting? It's not about us always. It's the managers and those above us who decide, you're not the right fit.
Yeah.
You're a great storyteller. You're filling in and doing everything we need you to do. But sorry, there's no place setting at the table for you.
It was really funny where I literally got called into the office and I was told, that I was doing a poor job and it was awful and all of that. And then a few weeks later, I won an Emmy. And then 2 weeks later, I was named the best Black journalist in Philadelphia. Literally at the same, it literally was a 6. And then after that, I got chosen for NBC, Mika Brzezinski has to Know Your Value. And it was a program. I don't know if it's still a program there, but it was a program and it was all expense paid trip to New York to go to this conference. And then you get mentorship and all of that. And they pick you. And so I was chosen for this program. And so all of that happened within maybe 6 weeks.
You were told you're not worth it to, actually you are. And a lot of people see your value.
Well, other people were saying that, right? And so I was just okay, great. But I have such deep faith and I'm always I think God knows what you need when you need it. And that point where that could have taken me out, where I could have started to believe it. But then I had the counter narrative to it in real time. So it was just super duper powerful. But I came to New York. So I planted the seeds where through the Know Your Value program. So I got one program and then I got an even more exclusive program where they flew me to Orlando to do this. It doesn't exist anymore, but it's called the Johnson & Johnson Human Performance Institute. And so they used to train Olympians. And so they train what they call the corporate athlete. And so again, this is
wow, that's the corporate athlete.
Yeah, corporate athlete. So it's like a term that's coined by these guys who were running the program, and it's really about how do you show up at peak performance. It's for high achievers, and how do you show up at peak performance. So it was holistic. I mean, they did blood tests, fat. You had to sit in an egg and with a bathing suit to see, because it's all about health and wellness, and then also mental health and then strategy.
What?
Yeah. And so, but the thing is that this was at the bottom of, those corporate emails that everybody overlooks. So I would read it because I always want to know what the business is doing and how I can move my career on, right? And so I'd always read it to see, okay, where are they investing money and what are they saying is amazing, and see if there are trends there and is there something I can align myself to so I can continue working, right? And so then I saw this and I was I don't know what this means. I don't know what it is. And then I saw it again in another email and I was they're apply. And the thing is that most people are recommended from their bosses. I was none of these folks here, they hate me. They hate my ass, okay? They're not going to recommend me for shit. So.
I'm laughing at the. Oh, God, we've been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there. Yep.
So I recommended myself. I made my own little video because I was you know what other people aren't going to do? They're not going to do video because they're too scared. I was I'm going to do a video. And so I had my little MacBook, whatever, the editing, whatever. And so I edited a whole thing. And I knew that would give me an edge. And so they picked me for that. And then when we're on our calls, preceding the actual conference and programming and all that stuff, then they were, and this is for the whole Comcast and NBC. So the person who goes and sets up your cable to the person who's, in Albuquerque, it was across the country. So they only picked 100 people. And so I was among the 100. And so then they had this other thing that they're oh, you can go to this Human Performance Institute. You have to fill out this other thing. But again, I was I'm making another video. Because you know what? Most people don't even
I love that. I love this.
Yeah.
All right. Next. I'll do that too.
Yeah, I'll do that too. And also, I was I don't even know what this is, but it gets me out of work and I hate coming to work. I was it gets me out of work and it doesn't count towards my PTO. So whatever it is, I'm going to have more fun than I'm having right now.
Had I known this little secret, I would not have deleted all those damn emails that I deleted.
That's what most people don't want. And that's the thing. You got to be strategic. Because I was okay, if this goes left, like what happens? And I'll be damned if somebody not liking me just unravels my whole life. So what am I going to do?
Man, that boils my blood to even hear you say that, because I know.
Yeah.
I've had that happen too.
Yeah.
Over at CBS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have unraveled my career. And I said, I'll be damned if I'm going to have CBS letting me go be the reason I don't go back into it.
Yeah. And so with the Know Your Value, we got coaches. We got executive coaches for free.
Oh my.
And so again, people get things and they don't use it. And I was like, don't give me something for free now. Okay? Don't give me something for free. Because we are going to squeeze this.
Oh yeah.
Completely. So, and then it was an outside company, so they don't report what you tell them. They just report trends to whatever. So then I got an executive coach, Jose Palomino. I'm still in contact with him.
I was going to ask if you're still in touch with him.
Yeah. And so he gave me assessments because I was like, I don't know what's really happening in my life. And I don't even really know like how to start. And so he gave me some assessments, and he was my accountability partner. And he was like, all right, if something happened today, would you have 3 people to call? Not 3 people who you can commiserate with, but 3 people who can make introductions for you, to other people to get another job. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, no, not that. Well, not carry the one. No, not.
Times by 4.
Right, times by. I got 1. I got a solid 1. I don't have 3. And he's like, well, you have work to do. And so that's how I started broadening my network, because all the people that I really knew were all in news. And I was like, news people won't be able to help me if I'm, if I lose my job. Yeah. They're not going to be able to help.
They can listen.
They can listen, but they can't help. Yeah. And I'm going to need help. And so I need to know more people, and I need to expand my network like ASAP. And so then it just was a strategy to do that. And then I kept on getting advice from people. And then that's really just what started the ball rolling. So by the time I got to New York, I wasn't in the place of like, this needs to be my be all end all. It's like I always felt in my spirit, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit with nowhere to go. And I was like, no, I'm like, my gift is on loan here. And so I'm not putting my whole thing in this thing. It also was crazy as hell.
Wait, my gift is on loan here.
Yeah.
That's how you viewed.
Yes, because I stopped calling myself a reporter and started calling myself a journalist, because I always felt like it was too limiting. Like, I am a storyteller. I'm a lot of different things, but this is the vessel it's in now. But I always knew it could be in another vessel. It could be in another lane. It didn't only have to exist in this way. I didn't know what that looked like. But I knew that it had to exist. And the reason why I came to New York was to find a way for it to exist. It just was an information gap. It wasn't a reality gap, if that makes any sense, Yeah. So that's what I came to New York to do. So this was a means to an end. Like, so reporting in New York was just like, I wasn't like enamored with. Sometimes like the first time I did a live shot in Times Square, other than like being, Lord, please don't let a crazy person bop me over the head.
I know.
And become a meme. Like, please, Lord, don't have that happen to me. So we position ourselves like with a barrier behind us.
Yeah, you always
food truck,
like something like a wall or something.
Yeah.
Or then like the cameraman, because the cameraman is there, but like they're looking at you. They're not looking around. And
so we had another guy to be eyes.
Crew.
Yeah, to be eyes for Times Square. So somebody could be eyes, and so but I also spent the time going to events and talking to your people.
Events.
Oh yeah. You have to.
So what kind of events? Like, and talking to people? Like,
yeah. So I went on Eventbrite, and I was like, I'm not spending more than $10. It has to be free, but if I'm paying, it can't be more than $10. And I would go every week, and every week I went to something. And this is working the morning shift, mind you.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would do it at the end of the week, so I could be tired on Friday.
Oh yeah, like
do it on a Thursday.
Wednesday's like pushing it. Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday. And so it would be at A&E. It would be at Instagram. It would be at. I mean, this is like pre-pandemic, so it was popping. Like, all these things were happening. This group and this women's media group, or I went to like one about with tech people, or, you know, and it's me like with my Google Maps, because I was new to the city, and I was just like, okay, well, what building is that? And I would just sign up for it and go by myself, and I wouldn't tell anybody about it. And I would just listen and learn. And some things, I didn't understand a lot of it, but some things were just interesting. And you figure out who are the players. And even if it was like following people on Instagram or LinkedIn, or just talking to people and they're like, hey, there's this other thing, you want to go? And you're like, yeah, sure. And so that's what I would just do. And I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't tell anybody what I was doing. I went by myself. And I was just trying to figure things out and make a way.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm seeing is like you were learning this at such a young age to try to find answers in high school to get to that AP class.
Oh, right.
And now fast forward, you're
thing.
still trying to find answers, and like you're fighting and advocating for yourself, and you know there's something more and greater.
I just don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is, but I know it exists. I just don't know what it is. So that's the only gap that I need to like bridge.
Still to this day.
I mean, even now, I'm always like, I'm meeting people, and even like with the podcast, like talking to people, I'm like, man, I'm thinking too small.
Right?
Like, there's more available, or I'm really hustling backwards. You know what I mean? I'm hustling, but I'm hustling backwards. You know, like I need to think about this differently. But I think the biggest thing is that I'm always in community. I was raised in community, right? You pool your collective resources, whether it's like, it's not necessarily money, but it's ideas, it's experiences, it's leverage. So, you know, my parents had to go out. I might be at an auntie's house, you know, because so they don't have to pay a babysitter, you know, stuff like that. There's always a barter, give and take. And so for me, it's also finding things out, but it's also being a resource for people. So whenever I have to give. You know, I always have enough to give. Like, that's how I was raised. You always have enough to give. Oh. You might not have everything you want, but you have enough to give something. And so that's how when people encounter me, I have something. Oh, you have I will tell you what I did wrong. Don't do that. Or let me introduce you to my news director. I can't get you a job, but I can make the introduction and you do whatever you can do there. Or I'll look at your tape, or let me tell you what they're telling us here. Or let me tell you what it's really like here. And you make your own decisions. Or like, let me help out, or let me show up, or but it's like I'm part of a greater community. Like, it's a responsibility to others. And so I think that's the part in working with people now and their transitions. That's, I think, what they miss. Yeah.
No, I do kind of the same thing you do. I just never considered it part of community and to give. Like, you know, you have like reporters reaching out to you. Like, hey, can you look at my resume tape?
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's like light mentoring and stuff. So I try to do too, just give back, because I always think to myself, you know, you have a couple of people when you're rising through the ranks that you can turn to. Right. But I feel like I always wanted to be that person people can come to.
Right.
When they just don't know where to go.
Right.
And oddly, now I have a podcast about it. That's not exactly what, I mean, like we say, you're trying to figure like, what's your why? Like right now, this is my why.
Yes.
Right? So, enough. So, okay. So you go to these what is it called?
Eventbrite.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because they have the apps. They usually ask for, they say like, oh, there's yoga in Times Square. It's like those Eventbrite ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it, the app is orange, isn't it?
I think like orange or pinky or
like
somewhere like that. Yeah.
I think I deleted the app. Now I'm going to put it back onto my
But
phone.
The thing is that I just was so scared about coming to New York. I was like, this place is going to swallow me whole. It's so big. And I was like, millions of people. I'm going to feel so alone. Like, that's what I was like.
Right,
so,
you don't have any,
I mean, I have my brother's here, so thankfully, so that's great. But he travels a lot, and I do have like a few friends here. But I just was like, this is huge. But navigating work in a city like this, it's just, I felt the idea of it felt so unmanageable to me, and I was like, how can I make the city feel smaller, or how can I get to have real conversations with people I've never met before, like outside of work, you know, like how can that happen? And I knew work wasn't going to be a vehicle for my future. I always kept that door open, but I was just like, well, the people I'm meeting at work are like, nobody was doing, my friends weren't doing any of this, right? You know, so I didn't necessarily have a touch point of other people doing this. So I'm just like, I'm charting my own path, and how can I like, how do I do this? And so I just was like, let me just try. This is what I have available to me. I don't have very much money, and, you know, like, but it's New York and then tons of stuff is free. And so let me just try.
I mean, this is all stunning to me. I think it's, I'm like mentally taking notes. And yes, I do have my reporter notebook.
Okay, yeah.
I totally
do.
can be like,
you totally do.
Oh my God, so like, yeah, so this thing, so.
I love it.
I mean, I'm going to ask more questions, but yeah, so I have it even titled Unscripted Turbulence.
That's so great. I love that so much.
And you know what? I think I
should walk around with a reporter notebook because it's like handy. It's just like, it's so much.
It's like a security blanket.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't even know what I started writing notes to. I actually, this was thicker, and I think there were notes from WABC reports.
Okay, yeah.
You know, but yeah, no, I'll walk around with it, but this is specifically for this show.
Yeah.
So, you know, I also carry my media, my press pass.
I did it for so long.
So I think we're supposed to hand it in. Not that anybody is going to be listening.
Oh, but it, you know, it has a date on it. So it's like expired.
Mine's still 2025.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's January expired. It's fine.
But you know, they don't even.
Whatever, I flash it quick. I can
flash it. I was
know who I am. Do you know who I am?
I mean.
Yes, I'll be writing notes as you're talking. Anyway, so that's left hand turn off the conversation. All right, so you go to these Eventbrites, you start kind of collecting your ideas and, you know, next, even watering the garden more for your next step. So how did you get to that next step? I mean, you're at WCBS doing the morning show. God bless us. I
did it for like, I did it for like 6 months maybe. And then I got dayside.
Oh, you only did it for 6 months?
I was so lucky.
You brat.
I was so lucky.
6 months?
Yeah. But again,
I have like a tick from my,
I know, right?
6 months.
I know. But then again, it was just because of I had a manager who advocated for me in the room. Yeah.
We won't talk about who that manager is, but I have a feeling I know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's no longer there.
Yeah.
Who actually need to text. Yeah. We had a tough go at the beginning. I would have never thought we would have.
Likewise.
Yeah. Very tough go. But he was kind of like, kid, you're trying, you know, because he like gave me tough feedback. Like I needed to improve. And I would be like, hey, so I was thinking, could I do this or that, you know, whatever. And he just appreciated that I was like trying because so many people would just get so in their feelings about it. But again, I had Philly as an example of like how to take tough feedback and get better from it. And so it was just like, I'm not taking it personally. I want to get better because I have like aspirations. So like if you're along the path to give me this, I can I have a enormous sense of self, so I can understand, first of all, you can't tell me something about myself, like give me tough feedback that I haven't already given myself. So
that's good.
I'm tough on myself. So like if you're saying it, then I'm like, all right, I know. How can you like teach, like can you help me? How do I do it? And so we kind of work together. We would go in edit bays and be like, okay, because we had a tough boss there too. And so it was just like, all right, we'll do it this way. And then he would run interference for me to give me some space so I could learn and get better. And I got better and better. And and then there was an opening and he was like, okay, I think I know the answer, but what would you like? And gave me options. And I was like, I would like to be dayside. And so then I was dayside.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes there are those little guardian angels in that newsroom that will help propel you forward.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So when did we leave WCBS?
Yeah. So in July of 2022. And so there was there was a lot of upheaval, we'll call it, in the newsroom. Huge management upheaval. Managers left, we'll say that, after an expose in the LA Times. And then they brought new people in. But this was all during COVID. So like there are a few calculations. We're in the epicenter of the pandemic and we are out in the street, right? So coworkers are getting sick left and right,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like so many people were just so sick.
Yep, that'll happen with us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so coworkers, so you're like, all right, this is like a high, like you're making a lot of sacrifice for this job. On top of that, with the George Floyd protests and stuff like that, and corporate whatever, we didn't have very many people of color. They didn't hire very many people of color. We're in New York City. So they're like, oh, Aundrea, be the plug for everything. So I was anchoring a lot. I was anchoring 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I was anchoring all the shows.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and somebody has COVID. Where are you right now to hop on set? Like in New York City, #1 market, I'm anchoring a lot. I'm not being paid as an anchor.
Oh, here we go.
Nowhere near.
Yep.
And then also I'm a leader in the newsroom. And so during the upheaval, I'm having conversations of managers coming because people trust me. And so when we had the new manager, we had like a new GM come in before we were switching news directors. We're in that time where we had no news director. We didn't have a news director for months. And I was like, hey, I am taking on far more responsibility than my job title. And I just would like my compensation to like align with the work that I'm doing. And here's a document for the ways I have gone over and above, you know? And so he's like, yeah, I know. So then, and I wanted to do it before we had a new news director because a new news director is going to start from their day one and not have the perspective of what happened. So anyway, new news director comes in. None of us were under real contracts. We had like basically agreements so they could fire us faster. It was a tactic,
was it that
whatever.
90-day thing?
Yeah.
Oh, 90-day.
Yeah. But I was happy about that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like under 2 and 3 year contracts there. I was really happy, which is basically you could leave with, I think it was like 60 or 90 days.
Yeah.
Basically they could get rid of you or you could leave with just a few months notice. Right. And people felt insecure with that because they're like, oh my God, you come to work every day and you're like, oh my God, I could get fired. I didn't care. I was just like,
You're like
I'm looking anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it didn't matter. But because I had taken on so much responsibility and stuff like that, and with the new team, they're like, we can't operate like this. We need to put people under contract. So everybody was having negotiations. My negotiations I did not accept it. And so then it was like, okay, well, like, what's your role going to be? But because of the protracted nature of my negotiation and just the tenor of it that I didn't appreciate, when they came to me to say, okay, we really want you to stay, and like, because they wanted me to take on even more responsibility, more stress, and more visibility. And I'm at headquarters on top of all of that. So I just knew the stress that would come with it and without the infrastructure support. So basically when they came to me to say, okay, well, we want you to stay, like, what do you see your role being? I said, actually, I see my role not being here and I want to leave. Because I just became very clear of I didn't know where I would go. Again, this is 2022. I wouldn't do it the same way now with the economy being the way it is and stuff like that. But I just knew in my heart it had weighed so heavily on my spirit and it just was so hard to show. And I mean, I was doing a lot. I had specials that they had assigned to me that I was doing, producing and reporting and like all the things myself. I had a producer help, but like it was really me.
Yeah. Because the producers are doing other things too.
Yeah.
They're just not assigned to you.
But also me too. I was turning stories while I'm producing a 30-minute special that's like has higher ratings on streaming, right? Like, and I'm doing this with nothing to show for it in New York City. And already the wages are very low at that, like very low at that station comparatively to all the other stations. And so I was just like, this is not the best that I could do. And if this is it, and then they're like, okay, you could go to network and, you know, like we want you to do that, all the carrots. And I was like, actually, I don't want a network lifestyle. I know in news, they tell you that you should want to go to network. And I was like, actually, I don't want to do that. Yeah. I don't want to be on call every single day. Although now I own a business, I'm on damn call every day. But it's my own thing.
Which is so different,
I don't want to fly around the world. And I was like, well, what stories would I cover if I was a network? I'm covering every school shooting and every calamity, and I'm going to be here. I was like, I don't actually want that life. And I had to just be honest with myself of like, I don't want that for myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it were all, not to be morbid, but if it were all over today, would I be proud of myself? And I was like, yeah, I've got all these awards and all that, but I wouldn't be proud of myself because I know I have something more in me and it has nowhere to go. So I will give myself 2 years. And I didn't tell anybody. I told like 3 people that I was going to quit, none of which were my family. And I said, I'm going to give myself 2 years because that felt like a contract, right? Like we live our lives in 2 and 3 year increments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at it and I cannot quit. And then I cannot assess it until after 2 years to see what I want to do. And if it doesn't work, then I'll go find a job. But if it does work, what could happen?
Right.
And that's what I did.
Okay. So you leave.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you left that, what was it again?
July 2022. So July 8th or 9th was my last day, 2022.
Wow. And then this is where you started what you're doing now?
Yeah. So I quit in June and I had to stay on till July. Okay. And so in between that time, I had already been thinking about it. I had an LLC, but I didn't know what that meant. Uh-huh. My first business decision was to join Luminary, which is a community that centers women and has a co-working space. I know the owner and I had been doing moderating conversations with her, but I always told myself, if I ever do something, I'm going to join this community. And so I started taking classes. That was the first business, like the business investment. But before I left in that month, literally I told them on like a Wednesday or Thursday in June, the next week, I had my first gig. And that was with the Atlantic event production.
Get out of here. You wasted no time.
Yeah. I mean, I had been applying for jobs beforehand and didn't get it. But sometimes I feel like you have to, like, we think about no's as like turning our back on something, but no's create space for bigger yeses. And so I needed to create space. I needed to move shit around.
Oh, yeah.
And I needed to create the space.
Yes.
And so I had full space and full energy for the yes. And it all the way, it's kind of a long story, but it just happened where, so I saw something on LinkedIn and I knew somebody. And then the woman who was hiring was going on maternity leave that Friday. So she's like, we got to wrap this up. And so I like literally from when I applied to when it happened was 5 days.
Oh, wow.
When I had been applying for months.
It's timing.
But, but again, I think like God knows my Achilles heel is money. And so it was just, again, that signal, just like I had that signal when I got really bad feedback about how terrible I am. Yeah. And then I got the awards right after. Yeah. I think being in a very vulnerable state that, no, it's going to be okay.
Wow.
And so then I got that the week after, like, days later. It's not even a week, like days later, I got that. And that was my first gig. And so I kind of started like some of the meetings like overlap while I was like, I'd be in the truck and I'd be on an Atlantic call while I was at the truck. Nobody knew.
And when she's talking about the truck, she's talking about the live truck.
Oh, the live truck. Yeah, the live truck. Yeah, so I was doing that. And so I knew I had something. I had savings. So I knew I could go like, I could go about 4 months with nothing. And then with this, and then added another like month and a half, let's say. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm almost like at 6 months where if like nothing happened, I was like, I can make something happen in 6 months. And so the day after I left, I went to England with my family. We went on family vacation, which was an incredible vacation. Then I got COVID. I never had COVID, even reporting out. I never got COVID. I got COVID after I left.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, but it was actually like because it knocked me out. Like I was just, but I hadn't slept. I was so tired. I was so exhausted. Like my spirit, like in my bones.
Yeah.
I was not like sleep tired, but my bones. Like I just was so tired. And so that just knocked me out to just be like, go to bed.
Yeah. Like a good reset almost. Like you needed a spiritual, mental, emotional, physical reset.
Yep. And I put it online that, always gracious. Thank you so much. I'm out, basically. And a friend of mine who works in finance, she's like, hey, let's go to dinner. She took me to this fancy dinner. And she was like, hey, can you help me do business development? Like I'll pay you a few $1,000s a month for a 6-month contract. And she's like, how does that sound? I was like, sure. Girl, I didn't even know what business development was. And so
I would have like tinkled a little bit. Right. Like, what? You want me to what?
Yeah. But I had gone to a conference when I just moved here, and they said, turn around and look at your neighbor. You don't know who they will be. And she was sitting in front of me, and we kept in touch all through these years. And, she's huge firms. She deals with multimillionaires. And so she would like look over my finances before. And she was just like, and she told me years before, like, I think you're dreaming too small. And I didn't even know, like, I was like, wow, like, I don't even know how to dream bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, yeah, I think you're dreaming. And so we just kept in touch. She would invite me to these fancy events and like, and then she like gave me like my second contract. And then another friend was working. She had a W-2 job, a 9-to-5, and she had something on the side, and it wasn't a heavy lift. And then the job changed, and it was a online digital platform, and they were going on television, and they needed a team to help them transition to television. And she called me like, man, I can't even believe I have to do this. Like, can you help me brainstorm? I was like, all right. So then you need like a desk. Like, and she's like, how many employees? Because we got to come up with a plan or whatever. And I was like, okay. And we're just strategizing. And then the next day she was like, do you want to come on and like help me do this? And the first thing I said was, if I don't like it, can I quit? Because I'm real sensitive right now.
Especially when it involves like a room which possibly has news and scripts and a camera.
Yes.
A little trauma there. I don't know. Yeah.
Yes. So I took it, and that was a producing job. And I took it because when I was applying for jobs, I was only qualified for entry-level jobs because news, like at this, if you take news aside, in the corporate world, when you've worked for this long, you have direct reports. You have people reporting to you. You are a manager. But news, you can make a lot of money and not manage a person. And that's not normal in the regular world. And so your money is tied to the amount of people that you manage. And you need to create a story in interviews about your management experience and what type of manager you are. Because if you want to get comparable pay, you need to be able to talk about managing people and taking an idea from concept to fruition, and then taking a team along with you to do that. That's what you have to do to get comparable pay. And so, or else you're kind of like junior when you don't have any direct reports. And so I was like, I'm going to take this producing job, very not great pay, but it was just like, first of all, a stabilization while I'm still trying to figure out what this business thing is. But also, if I want to go to corporate, now I can create a story about having a team that I manage. And so then I can create. So I was like, I only need to do this for a year to then create this story and then figure out what the wins are. And then I can, because all it is that you're navigating one story to the next story to the next story to leverage one opportunity to the next opportunity to the next opportunity. That's all that it is. And so I knew I needed to create this management story because I'm always like leaving doors open along the way.
Oh my gosh.
So it wasn't a whole lot of money, but it also like I only had to be, we shot 2 days a week and we batch recorded. And so the other times I was in Luminary working and taking classes and meeting people. And so you're working in between, but it's all remote. But I could then do other things on the side to kind of set up my business, really wrap my head around like, what am I doing? While I also had this this client, this financial client, to help her with her business development. So I'm sending out newsletters for her and helping her with social media and like how can she better connect with her audience, and doing webinars on her behalf, and bringing in speakers to interview them, and having people come on and, to learn about financial principles and stuff like that.
Wow, this is just like, keep the doors open, and just it kind of will come and happen. And your story is fascinating. I can talk thousands more years.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm looking at the time.
Yeah.
I do this every single time.
Gosh.
I just need my own studio.
I know.
My poor engineers.
I know.
They're probably like, all right.
I know. Sorry, I talk a lot.
No. That's what a podcast is all about. Mind you, I'm mentally taking notes. Okay, so because we have to wrap this up, where do you want to end this? I always like to say hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Where are you at now? I know, people can contact you.
Yeah. Well, I would just say, to people, because a lot of people are navigating, they're dealing with their turbulence right now. There's so much turbulence right now.
My goodness, there is.
And so I would just say that there is another way. And just because you don't know what it is doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just is an information gap. And to start being open. And then also you got to get in community. Stop trying to do it yourself. There's absolutely no shame if you've been laid off, if money is low, you don't have any money, you're trying to figure it out. There is zero shame in any of it. So you just have to be honest. And if you are in a position right now where you are working, you need to start thinking about how to plant those seeds today, right now, because your job doesn't care about you. And you have to care about you. And so I help people do this.
Go on.
So the Next Best Thing podcast, that's like the easiest. It's like we have about 100 episodes at this point. And then also for journalists and storytellers, the rewrite is startyourrewrite.com. And so I have worksheets. I have a library of resources of people who have transitioned. I send out emails all the time about like, this is what you need to think about. You have to think about yourself fundamentally differently, but journalism is a great space, so how you have told stories, that whole process, flip it on yourself. You are the story. So how do you tell the story? You don't just say, real quick, for your story, you don't just say, you go to a neighborhood, people are like, hey, this is going on. You don't just put that on TV, like for other things, not the story you're working on when they give you tips. You call somebody about that tip. So you have an idea. You don't just go, you call somebody and say, hey, I had this idea. Then you have your editorial meeting, right, of people who are there who are supposed to help you make your story better. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? You need to create your editorial meeting of people who you trust, who have open minds to say, hey, this is my idea. What do you think? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And then what do? We go find the experts to then interview about the thing, our primary sources. Right? Mm-hmm. So then you go find the people who are doing the thing, who are the experts in the thing, and then go take them out. Go take them out for coffee. Go take them out for lunch. And then interview them about that thing. And it might not just be one. It might be somebody else too. And then you put the story together. But the first draft never goes on air. Right? You got to keep editing it. You got to keep editing it and refining it. And then even when you have something that makes air, when you have new information, you don't say, oh, well, you do a follow-up for a new story. And that's what we're doing here, right? That's what all of us are doing here. And so, I just help people do that. And if they're not in news, then it's part of a bigger ecosystem that I'm calling the Next Best Thing ecosystem, where I have a membership, we have sessions and all of that. But we're like, this is the story I'm telling now. It's the best story I've ever told, is really helping people tell theirs.
Oh, I can't end it better than that. I could talk to you forever. I mean, I feel like we just scratched.
I just feel like blinked and it's like, oh my God.
I know, I looked up, I was like, oh no. I've never wished for time to go slower in my life. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, this was so great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Aundrea Cline-Thomas. All right, wave to the camera, we'll say goodbye. Bye. Bye, friends.
Thank you for joining us.
Take what lands, leave what doesn't, and keep moving forward. follow wherever you're listening. And if you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know.